September 7, 2014, from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. It was the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. Drew Brees and the Saints got off to an early lead in Atlanta as Brees led the Saints into field goal range on consecutive drives, and Shayne capitalized by first kicking a 31-yard field goal and then a 50-yard field goal to make it 6-0 New Orleans. New Orleans continued to score as they opened up the second quarter driving, and just over 3 minutes into the second, Khiry scored the game's first touchdown with a 2-yard run to make it 13-0 Saints. Matty Ice and the Falcons responded with an 80-yard drive lasting 7 minutes and 40 seconds that resulted in their first score as Bryant connected with Roddy White for a 2-yard touchdown pass to cut the Saints' lead to 6 at 13-7. Not to be outdone, Drew Brees came right back with his own 80-yard drive, but in half the time as the Saints got to the end zone in under 4 minutes, and the score was now 20-7 as he connected with Brandin Cooks on a 3-yard touchdown pass. The Falcons would only have 20 seconds left on the clock before halftime, but instead of taking a knee, the Falcons drove into field goal range, and Bryant nailed a 40-yarder to make it 20-10 as the Falcons cut the Saints' lead in half, going into the locker rooms at halftime. The Falcons came out of the halftime fired up for the second half as Matty Ice led Atlanta 80 yards in 12 plays, resulting in 7 points as Ryan connected with Toilolo on a 1-yard touchdown pass to make it 20-17 as it was now a 3-point game. Both teams would punt on their next possession, and then the Saints looked to threaten as Drew Brees connected with Jacquizz on a 57-yard pass to bring the Saints into the red zone. But then 3 plays later, Drew Brees was intercepted by Rolando McClain. Matty Ice took advantage of the turnover and turned it into 7 as he led the Falcons down the field and connected with Smith for a 54-yard touchdown pass, giving the Falcons the lead for the first time in this game at 24-20 as the third quarter came to a close. Drew Brees then led the Saints on an 80-yard drive in 12 plays, taking up 6 minutes and 35 seconds, resulting in a 3-yard touchdown run by Mark Ingram as New Orleans took back the lead at 27-24 with just under 9 minutes left to play in this game. Then, with just under 3 minutes left in regulation, Jacquizz Rodgers scored on a 17-yard touchdown run to give the Falcons the lead at 31-27. The Saints came right back, scoring within a minute and a half as Mark Ingram scored his second 3-yard touchdown run of the fourth quarter to make the score 34-31 New Orleans. Now with just over a minute on the clock, Matty Ice showed why he earned the name as he brought the Falcons to within field goal range, and Bryant kicked the 51-yarder to send this game into overtime. Then in overtime, New Orleans had the ball, and first Jacquizz fumbled on the second play of overtime, and the Falcons recovered as Bartu came up with it, and Moore had lit up Colston to force that fumble, and this gave the Falcons the ball on their own 38. And 4 plays later, Bryant came up clutch once again as he drilled his third field goal of the game and his second from 50-plus yards, as this one was from 52, and made the score 37-34 as the Falcons beat the early season Super Bowl favorite among the mainstream sports media in an overtime stunner. So the Falcons pull this one out, and Ryan was 31 for 43 in this game, throwing for 448 yards to be this week's leading passer. He had 3 touchdowns. Drew Brees was 29 for 42 with 333 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Mark Ingram was the game's leading rusher with 60 yards off 13 carries, and he scored 2 touchdowns. Jacquizz had 110 yards catching off of 5 receptions, and Julio Jones had 7 receptions for 116 yards. Hester was 1 yard shy of the century mark with 99 yards off of 5 receptions, and Roddy White had 72 yards off of 5 receptions as well, and a touchdown to boot. So an exciting game in Atlanta, and the Falcons pulled this one out. So they got a tremendous effort from their defense. It was a high-scoring game. That big interception by McClain set things up and the Falcons and Matty Ice took advantage, and Matt Bryant was the hero as the Saints lose to the Falcons 37-34 as Atlanta wins this one.